This is Geek Gab with your host, Dorrinal, and me, Daddy Warpig. We are back. Geek Gab for Monday, May 5th, 2025. Am I right? Is it 2025 yet? Yes, it is.
Not only is it 2025, we're already into May.
Man, what did I just see? I just saw I just saw somebody tweeting about they're a professor, and they were tweeting about how they used to use examples. I think they were a physics professor. They were tweeting about how they used to use examples from Monty Python and the Holy Grail to teach their classes, and everybody got it. And then over the years, fewer and fewer people got it. And then within the last 4 or 5 years, nobody has even heard of the movie.
It's one of the funniest movies ever put to film.
And it's over. It's gone. Its time is past. And Michael Palin's birthday is today, and he's like 82, I think. So, yeah, it is. That's the kind of feeling I get when it's 2025. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's 5 years into the 2020s, and I know they're going to be pedantic people who try to say no, the 2020s start in 2021, and that's just going to give me a headache, and I'll have to get angry at the pedantry, and I'll have to say, yes, I get what you're saying, because the numbers go from 1 to 10. I get it. I understand. And I don't care. If there's a 2 in front, 2020, that's when they start. I don't care anymore. So anyway,
Seems like
sorry.
a normal, healthy reaction to pedantic jerks. Back to Corbin. Thanks for listening. He points out that it's Sir Michael Palin. I did not know.
Sir Michael Palin.
Gosh, you can get knighted for anything these days, can't you?
They were playing on the announcement of his birthday tweet. They were playing a clip from Monty Python, of course, from Monty Python's Flying Circus. And it was the clip of Bicycle Repairman. I don't know if you've seen that sketch. It's where everybody in society is dressed up as Superman.
I don't recall that one.
So the entire society is Superman. Blue suit, big S, cape. But when somebody's bicycle gets broken, one Superman has to dash off and change into his secret identity as Bicycle Repairman. And then he immediately, gets into one of those overalls with a little cap and a little mustache, case with tools in it and stuff, and go over and wrench on the tire and fill it up with air and turn the bike over and adjust the seat. They called it a saddle, of course, because it's England. And they call wrenches spanners because, it's England. And that doesn't add any humor over there, but it's kind of funny for Americans. And then all the supermen who are the normal citizens are talking in that big dramatic Superman voice, why, yes, Lois, look. And the bicycle repairman sounds Welsh, I think. So here's the funny part, though. This is the only thing I could think while I'm watching this sketch, which is pretty amusing. is he looks just like the secret undercover. I think it was sewage repairman from Brazil. And although I know that it was not in fact Bob Hoskins, my brain kept on trying to get me to believe it was Bob Hoskins in the movie. I'm like, no, stop it. You're trying to make me confuse Bob Hoskins from the Super Mario Brothers. Because he was a plumber in Super Mario Brothers. It wasn't Bob Hoskins in Brazil. So yeah. But it was eerie, and I'm wondering if he actually did that on purpose, or if that's just like a national, if that's just the way bicycle repairmen or repairmen in England just look, and so that's what they used. But of course, Brazil being directed by Michael Palin.
Terry Gilliam, right?
Terry Gilliam. Oh, the other guy from
the actual American from Monty Python.
Monty Python, right? But I do feel embarrassed because the other thing I was thinking of, oh yes, Michael Palin directed Brazil. There I was sitting there being wrong in my wrongness all day, wrongly thinking. While I was being wrong about Bob Hoskins, I was also being wrong about the director of the movie. Oh, that's great. That's why I do this show. So I can demonstrate my deep depths of knowledge about obscure pop culture topics. Awesome. I'm here for it.
It's okay, because I'm sure they shared notes and Terry Gilliam stole the joke or whatever.
So Terry Gilliam also directed Time Bandits then, right?
Yep. And
Okay.
12 Monkeys.
See, I have seen 12 Monkeys. I have seen Brazil. I have seen Time Bandits. I just haven't watched hardly any of the Flying Circuses. Or, now that we're on the subject, the Holy Grail.
Wait, could you say that again?
I haven't seen the Holy Grail.
You've never seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
Nope.
Huh.
I've seen little pieces of it. I've seen all the memes. I get all the jokes because I've had them repeated at me for like 40 years.
Granted.
Or 50, 40 years. So I've just never seen the movie. What?
You have to be pulling my leg. I don't get it.
We've got a comment. The response from the comments is, what?
What? Yeah, that's roughly my response.
That's like people who said to me like 2 or 3 years ago when I said that I'd never seen Johnny Utah. What was the Johnny Utah movie? The surfer.
Point Break.
I hadn't seen Point Break. Like I'd never seen Point Break. And everyone knows that Point Break is like my kind of movie, that it's like the kind of movie I was inevitably drawn to, like it was Gravity, and I just never seen it somehow. And then I saw it, and I still don't understand how I'd never seen it. You would have thought, you would have thought that I'd just been dragged into the theaters or thrown into a video store at some time in the late 90s and been forced to watch it by some invisible psychic power.
Right.
But
like, dude, you need to watch this.
Yeah, like 30 years passed and I'd never seen it. So I finally watched it for the first time 3, maybe 4 years ago, and it was fabulous. Absolutely incredible movie. I loved it. I was kind of annoyed that I hadn't managed to see it in 30 years. but it's great. Whoever hasn't seen it should go see Point Break. Not the new one, the one with Patrick Swayze and
Yes.
Keanu Reeves, because it's absolutely a fabulous action movie. Just incredible.
Classic, even.
Classic. Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's better than Speed, and I loved Speed. So, yeah, it's just there are just some movies I haven't watched that you would think it was inevitable
For sure.
that I would have seen at some point. But life takes you funny little turns, and you can't watch everything you want to watch. So let's see. Is there any news that we need to talk about? Oh yeah. Oh, dumbest marketing move ever. Thunderbolts. Their official title is like Thunderbolts with an asterisk after it. And Kevin Feige said at one point, we're going to reveal what that asterisk means at some point. And I was just like, Kevin, man, this is not clever. It's not going to work out. So they were finally revealed what the asterisk is today. Are you excited?
No.
Are you eager? Are you has a thrill run down your leg?
The anticipation is unbearable.
The asterisk stands for, and I'm not making this up, the New Avengers.
Yeah? Yeah, he thought that'd go over well?
So they had a poster of Thunderbolts, and what's her name? The little blonde lady who was in Pew.
Florence Pugh.
Pew. Who I can't help it. That name just reminds me of Muppet Treasure Island. Pew, blind Pew. The blind fiend, who I guess they prefer visually challenged fiend now. Sorry, I love the Muppet. Muppet Treasure Island. So, anyways,
Why are Muppet movies so good?
Yeah.
Even the bad ones, why are they so good? Like, nobody has ever asked to rewatch Muppets in Space, but it's still good.
Nope. But Muppet Treasure Island and like all those classic Muppet movies are just awesome. I just love Muppet Christmas Carol, Muppet Treasure Island. Those are peak viewing experiences. But she got up in front of this poster and tore off Thunderbolts, and underneath it said the New Avengers. And I'm like, oh. I mean, I think Loki is still technically dead. And she's in front, so like she's the leader of the New Avengers. And I'm just thinking, so Captain Marvel didn't work out as the leader of the New Avengers. So you have two villains nobody liked as part of the lineup of the New Avengers. The only person in that group that people liked was Bucky. And then you have a bunch of people, like 3 people from the Black Widow movie.
Yeah, nobody saw that. It was Florence Pugh and the fat guy from Stranger Things, and who else? Who cares?
The Taskmaster, wasn't the Taskmaster from...
Yeah.
I didn't see Black Widow movie.
Nobody did.
And then you've got the phasing woman from one of the bad Ant-Mans. I mean, it was okay, but it was bad. Not the worst Ant-Man, mind you.
Wait, hold up. Are you saying it's a bad movie?
Am I saying
I'm here for
Taskmaster's
it.
a I haven't seen Thunderbolts. I People are acting like it's a good movie, but I think it's because Marvel movies have been so bad for so long that people who are still watching them are thinking that a mediocre movie seems good by comparison. I honestly think that's where we are with Marvel movies.
Yeah, been
Uh,
there.
I just stopped watching them. I
Good for you.
just, and I stopped watching a while ago. I mean, the list of Marvel movies I haven't seen goes back to Black Widow. I haven't seen the 12 Rings. I haven't seen, uh, what is that? The Eternals. I didn't see Red Hulk. I didn't see, and the Marvel TV shows. I stopped with Secret Wars. I didn't see. Oh, I watched She-Hulk. I had to watch She-Hulk because I said I would review it, but I don't think I've watched anything since She-Hulk. I didn't watch Hawkeye. I didn't watch. Uh, I don't even. Oh yeah, Agatha All Along. I didn't watch that. I just I've dipped out. I'm not saying I'm not making a firm promise to the universe that I'll never watch anything Marvel again, but I just don't care. Robert Downey Jr. is coming back. I don't care. I'm not planning on watching the Fantastic Four movie. I might end up watching it, but I just they're trying to use Thunderbolts to backdoor in all the things that people hated about Phase 4. And they're also doing that with Fantastic Four. It's like, guys, you obviously haven't learned your lesson. Somebody was making this analysis of Avengers Endgame, and they were talking about why all the arcs of the characters were terrible. Why Tony's arc ended terribly. Why Captain America's arc ended terribly. Why Hawkeye and Black Widow's arc ended terrible. Well, actually was a decent ending, but everybody else had bad ending. Like Thor's arc ended terribly. And I said, look, the end of those three characters' arcs, Black Widow, Tony, and Captain America, was not predicated on being satisfactory ends to their characters' stories. It was predicated on them getting rid of the three most expensive actors. As it said on TV tropes, they were put on a bus, driven across the bridge, and then the bridge was blown up, which is a reference to South Park and Chef. They weren't meant to be satisfactory endings. They were meant to be final and conclusive ways to get rid of those actors from the MCU so that you could never bring them back. So, yeah, it was just the MCU's problem has always been that it's been trying really hard to plan for the long term, and they've let long term planning ruin the story that's going on right now. And I don't think that was necessary. I think you could have melded long term planning with the story that's going on right now in a subtler way. Um, but they just didn't. And I understand it's a very difficult thing to make a movie. I think it's almost impossible to know how difficult it is to make a movie unless you've actually made one. And I had to make a short movie in college as far as because I was in the communications department. It's half a trade school, half a scientific studies school. But one of the classes I was taking was filmmaking. So we had this script. Um, cast and shoot a movie. I was the director, so I was the one ultimately in charge of everything, and I was the one who had to edit it together. So, uh, because I was working with a bunch of people, and I was the only one who was willing to put in the work, and the only one willing to think about it, most of it fell on me. Um, so uh, that is absolutely nowhere near the kind of uh, the kind of burden making a movie is. And at one point, the people insisted we shoot video on tracks, which is Utah's, Salt Lake City's um, commercial rail or
Light rail.
light rail for pedestrians. I don't mean commercial as in, cargo. I mean for
For
commuter rail. Excuse me.
commuter,
That's
yeah.
what I meant. And so we shot this scene on the light rail, and I thought we had gotten everything set up right. And then when we got into the editing bay, it turns out that we're doing shot and reverse shot we were shooting it from one side for his conversation and the other way for her conversation. And we had shot it wrong. This is my fault. I was the director. It was completely my fault. And so you could tell that the train was going, it looked like instead of looking at each other, they were both sitting on the same side of the train. And it was just completely unusable. So we had to throw out that entire scene. We had to throw out all of their conversation, which is the central conversation establishing the relationship. It was the main point of the movie, and we had to cobble together something um, from the other footage we had. And that was a little 5-minute video. We couldn't go over 5 minutes. And that was one mistake, torpedoed everything. So I know how hard it is. And then you magnify that by like $200 million and a bunch of CGI and stunts and all this other stuff. I understand a little bit of how many moving parts these things have to have, and then you're trying to use them not just to make a good story and get good performances out of actors and get good shots right now that you could add in special effects later. I understand that this must be a monumental task that requires a lot of talent. I get that. But at the same time, they've undertaken that task and they've made promises to the audience, and it's on them to deliver. And if they don't deliver, the audience has a right to say, hey, this is what you promised us and this is what you delivered. Now, what we delivered to the teacher was enough to get us an A on the project because we actually delivered a quality project. We pulled it out in the editing room. And I was in the editing room with the guy who was chosen to be our editor. And so I knew the footage and we had it and we pulled it out. And that was with a complete collapse in the editing room where the software that we were working with erased our hard drive. So we had to redigitize everything and start the edit over from scratch. So we still got an A despite that big, huge mistake. We managed to pull it out. So we delivered what we were supposed to despite two huge problems. And Marvel just hasn't been delivering what they've been promising. They have established a whole slew of goals that they have placed first ahead of entertaining the audience. And it has made it unreasonably hard to deliver entertaining movies, and falling audience numbers and falling box office receipts have shown that. That's the problem they're in.
I mean, you're absolutely right. There's a long way to say they're crap, but they're crap. There's a reason why they're crap.
Yeah.
Let's see. Have we talked about the D&D news coming out of Lake Geneva or the Wisconsin area with Dave Kahn? Did we talk about that yet?
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Okay. Well, then nothing to see here.
Oh yeah. Do you want to talk about GI Bro for a sec?
GI Bro?
You haven't heard about this?
I haven't. Tell me more.
Oh, they started a game of in the GI Joe comic from the 80s. The GI Joe team, the background of many of their characters was that many of them were originally soldiers in Vietnam. Snake Eyes, Quick Kick, and a couple of others were originally soldiers in Vietnam. And one of their friends, who later turned into a Crimson Guardsman, was also a soldier in Vietnam. So they've started a new role-playing game using the Recon rules set from Palladium, which is an older rule set. I don't think they still publish it. Called GI Bro, where they are playing future GI Joe members in Vietnam.
Okay. Who's doing this?
I've been avoiding saying it because I think I'm going to get it wrong, but I think it's Brain Leakages.
Wow.
You can do a search for GI Bro on Twitter to catch it. Oh yes, I have seen Grosse Point Blank. I saw it in the theaters when it first came out. Great movie. One of my favorite movies. Just fun to do a question in chat. So I'm looking forward to like session reports from that.
Yeah, it could be a party.
All right. Let me introduce the topic of Havoc. Havoc is a new movie on Netflix. It just came out a couple weeks ago, starring Tom Hardy and the angry guy from Deadwood, who is also the angry guy from Justified, who coincidentally plays an angry. Oh, that's right. He was an angry policeman in Deadwood, and then he was an angry policeman in Justified, and you'll never guess. He plays an angry policeman in Havoc. But he's a really good actor. He really is.
Yeah, he's great. Timothy Olyphant.
Timothy Olyphant. And a bunch of other people you have probably seen before. Oh, and I can't remember his name, and I wish I could. Not that that's anything new around here. Who is the guy who works at the auto shop? The dad.
Oh, I don't know his name, but um, gosh, he's in everything. He's one of those character actors.
He's the one famous actor from the community college in Community, the TV show. Oh yeah, he plays an angry policeman in Mandalorian. Timothy Oliphant does. He plays the angry sheriff in the Mandalorian.
Does he?
Yep. Um,
I mean, hey, he's typecast.
but anyways, I want to talk about Tom Hardy for a bit because I just realized watching this movie and thinking about some of the recent roles he's been in. I saw an interview with him today on Twitter. A clip of an interview he was doing with Leonardo DiCaprio for the movie they had called Revenant, the bear movie, the bear rape movie. If you will.
Yes.
Am I supposed to not say that?
That is what it is. It's the bear rape movie.
And
I got the name of that actor, by the way, Louis Guzman.
Louis Guzman, yes, he's great. He's funny. He was great in Community. He's giving his big Leo DiCaprio is giving his big Hollywood speech about some answer about production on the movie. He's making it interesting. He's very, very smooth, very practiced. He's making it sound interesting. He's being really charismatic and polite to some random interviewer, because that's what these are. You sit there and each interviewer gets like 10 minutes or 5 minutes. They come and they ask their questions, and then another person comes in. You just do it over and over and over for hours, which really sounds like hell, but it's part of the job of doing a press tour for these movies. And then the interviewer goes and cuts it up and puts it on their YouTube channel or TikTok or whatever. And Tom Hardy is sitting there with this can of chocolate chips that the interviewer gave him that apparently tastes like campfires. And I guess he gave it to him because it's an outdoor movie. I am inferring from the context of the interview, because it tastes like campfires, and it was an outdoor movie when they were around campfires and stuff. And Leo's saying something like, yes, it's even more impressive when you realize these guys went and actually did it. See, I can't do Leo's voice, so I'm giving him a funny voice because why the hell not? And Tom Hardy is looking down at this jar of chocolate chips that he's got open. And he's just eating chocolate chips in ones and threes and fours and just reading the label of ingredients on this jar of chocolate chips. Like he's not even paying attention. And then Leo finally notices this and kind of laughs and says, can I have one? And he reaches over and he takes one. And then the interviewer, kind of awkwardly says, see, they taste like campfires. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm mulling over the roles. And this happens, like that. I'm thinking over the role he took in this movie and the last few roles he's taken in like Venom and some other movies I haven't seen, but I saw like who he's been. And I just come to this realization that like, I don't think Tom Hardy likes being an actor. I think he likes acting just fine. I think he likes getting into character and going out in front of the cameras and taking on a role and playing it. I think he likes doing that. But I don't think he likes showing up to interviews and trying to, comb his hair and dress up nice and look good for cameras and do the publicity thing. I think he just likes acting. He doesn't like being an actor. Because you look at the roles he takes versus something like Jason Statham or The Rock. The Rock has it written in his contract like he can't ever lose a fight. That's literally in all of his contracts in his movies. He can't ever lose a fight. And Jason Statham does too. So when they were in the movie together, in the spinoff of the Fast and Furious movies, all of their fights had to end in a draw. They couldn't even have one fight end where one of them wins and another fight where the other one wins. They all had to end in a draw. Because they can't ever look bad in front of the camera, not much less off the camera. They can't play villains. Jason Statham can, obviously, because he played a villain in The Fast and the Furious, but The Rock can't. They're always guarding their image. They're always trying to make themselves look good off camera and stuff. They always have to look tough and manly. But like Tom Hardy just plays the like the scuzziest guy as he can. He wants to just get into character and play kind of bad people because he doesn't care. He just wants to dig into his character. And then I also noticed the movie he did with Taron Egerton, the wrestling movie. Do you remember the one I'm talking about? Because I know we reviewed it for the show.
Oh, no.
Where he was in the Ultimate Fighting Champion style with his brother, and his brother was a math teacher. And in the championship, they go up against each other. And his brother won all his matches by just withstanding everything, just taking the beating and taking the beating and taking the beating. And then he won all his matches by just walking in. Tom Hardy won all his matches just by walking in, hulking, right? And then just slamming the person to the ground in like the first few seconds of the match. And then walking right out. He had that same hulking walk in Havoc. So it's almost like he just kept that walk from his other character. He wasn't trying to look refined because he's in a movie with, and we'll get to the movie in just a sec. He's in a movie with all of these slick martial artists doing all these slick martial artist moves. And so he went back to that hulking, beefy, smash them through things move set. And I think it played off well, but that's what he's doing is he's just going for these roles that let him act instead of trying to be an actor. Just an odd thought I had today.
I mean, you may be onto something. He's first of all, he's a good actor.
Yeah,
and I mean, I know it's a cheesy cliche, but he does elevate whatever he's in. I saw all the Venom movies, and they're not great. I talked to him about them a bit on the show. Like, they're not great. They're just, dumb popcorn action flicks. Kind of, you get what's on the tin. But he's in there. He plays the character as well as he can. It's you believe he's the character, and it's a lot of fun to watch. He just likes. I think you're onto something. I think he just likes the entertainment of it. He likes being an entertainer.
So do you want to summarize Havoc?
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, there's something else you should know about Havoc. Written and directed by Gareth Davies. Do you recognize that name? Or Gareth Evans, rather.
I know he made movies I've seen before.
That's right. He is the guy who directed The Raid Redemption.
Oh, yeah.
So he did The Raid and The Raid 2, and he's done a couple of other ones. So Havoc is another one written and directed by him, straight to Netflix. And so you mentioned hanging around with all the martial artists. Yeah, it's basically him and Timothy Oliphant and Forrest Whitaker and a bunch of no-name martial arts actors. Um, and this is um, a story about some sort of drug deal gone wrong. Um, Tom Hardy's character is introduced at the very beginning as a crooked cop, and soon enough we're introduced to the seedy underworld um, with triads, Chinese gangsters, and dirty cops, and drug deals gone bad. And he just gets in the middle of all of it. There's Forrest Whitaker plays the dirty mayor of the city, uh, and everything goes to hell just like you'd expect with that kind of setup. Um, Everything's there to just serve as a uh, canvas to paint the most violent, action packed story you can right there. Did I get everything?
Yeah, pretty much.
So I think the blurb on Netflix, it's like a ballet of blood or something stupid like that. Um, Whoever writes the copy for this should be slapped with a fish. But yeah, it's just um, it looks like it's going to be a dirty cop thriller. You think you're going to watch um, a poor man's Heat, right? You, but what happens is you get a super violent um, cross between a kung fu movie and a gangster movie. It's a little closer to the Raid. It's a little closer to Hong Kong action than sort of a regular what you'd expect from an American uh, action movie.
That that's what surprised me, and what I really liked about the movie. It's like um, these Chinese Tong are invading this American city, and they're just turning it into a war zone. Um, and they're completely off the hook. I mean, they are doing things that, and the only reason they're getting away with it is they're moving so quickly that nobody has a chance to respond yet. Um, and events are happening so fast. I mean, you don't have time. Uh, no official has had time yet to set up a task force or piece all these things together. They don't mention this in the movie. It's just when you look at the logic of the movie, it's happening in such a compressed time frame that it makes sense why there isn't like all of a sudden the FBI landing in vast numbers. They just don't have time to even react and say, oh wait, something's happening. um, but yeah, the Chinese Tong come in and they are off the chain, or off their leash, if you prefer, and everything is happening quickly and it's happening very bloodily, and it is has come and gone before anybody can really respond to what's going on. But what happens in the meantime is just shocking. It's just like, wow, this sudden explosion of violence. I mean, people in the city almost don't have time to get the news of what's going on before it happens. I think the whole thing takes place over 2 days, 3 days.
Something like that.
Yeah, people don't even have time to get from the news what's going on. It just blows in and then it's over, and it's
And that's what adds to the drama is that it starts off like you think this could be a thriller like a
yeah,
police movie, right? Because there's the murder at the drug deal, and then some important people are witnesses. And so, Tom Hardy, the dirty cop, comes in as the primary homicide detective, and you're like, okay, wow, where's this going to go? And it goes in a direction that you don't expect, regarding the witnesses because he needs to track down the witnesses. And then it becomes a three-way race to locate the witnesses between Tom Hardy, who is working for a bad guy, the uh, the Chinese gangsters, who are the bad guys, and the other dirty cops, Timothy Oliphant's cops, who are the bad guys. And they're all looking after these witnesses. It goes in an unexpected direction right after that opening scene. Um, it's wild, man.
So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Um, I think it was a fair judgment that this didn't go to theaters, that it ended up on streaming. However, it is definitely head and shoulders above most other things I've seen on Netflix. Like it's in the top, I don't know, 1 in 1,000. I don't know how much is even on Netflix nowadays. There's so much there that you can't even keep track of it. But it's one of the very best things I've ever seen on Netflix that wasn't a theatrical movie released there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and you're right. It's definitely not theater ready. It's definitely a straight to TV or thing, straight to streaming film. Uh, we can talk about the bad stuff too. You know, the all the actors playing the other characters. I don't care. Um, the like the witnesses and the the gang mooks and everything like that. You're not here for the acting, so who cares? What I didn't like, the one thing that I think was actually really bad and a shame, is almost all computer generated blood spatter. If you're gonna have one of these
Oh,
big, nasty, violent sort of kung fu movies, gun fu movies, this is like, um, what's his name? Mission Impossible 2, um, John Woo style gun fu movie, right? Without any of John Woo's style, it's definitely more in the Raid signature style. Um, if you're gonna have a gun fu movie, like let's get those blood squibs, like let's get real cool, like physical, practical effects. You've already got these amazing stuntmen doing martial arts moves and um, you know big falls and crashing through things. There's a nightclub scene because every single movie has a nightclub scene, and the fight in there is amazing. Bodies going everywhere, people falling down multiple stories, right? Um, Man, do practical blood effects, guys. Even poor practical blood effects is better than an obviously computer generated splotch, going over the camera. Um,
I found the street scenes, which were obviously computer generated, to be really distracting.
yeah, yeah, there were. There's one at the beginning of the film, in particular, that was the worst one. Um, but yeah, the car chases in the street scenes, they did not look like they were actually filmed. Looked like it was um, done on computers. Not great. Not
And
great.
not well done. They reminded me of Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow.
Wow.
Because the coloring was very similar, that kind of brown and chrome coloring. And uh, it, it just seemed fake. It was, it really took me out of the movie every time we went to do that. And they weren't bad scenes. I mean, they were staged really well. There was great stuff going on in them, but the fact that they were so clearly badly animated just meant I couldn't really enjoy them as much as I wanted to.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, all of the action scenes in the movie, on the other hand, were really fabulously well done. Um, the from big scenes that go on for a long time to very, very small things, small scenes that are done quick. There's one scene in a hospital that's just between a couple of characters.
Yeah, great scene.
Great scene. And the scene, there's a scene at a cabin in the woods that's outside of a city. Um, that makes just great use of the physicality of the cabin. Characters use the qualities of the cabin and what you would expect to be in a cabin and around a cabin uh, to great effect. The people are just really whoever wrote the script and blocked out the combat did a fabulous job.
You just needed about $1 million more for effects.
Yeah, actual squibs.
Yeah,
That's
and
that's the
paying for the city the street sets.
yeah. It was so there is a lot to really love about this movie. Um, a lot that is just great. The actors, um, Tom Hardy, Timothy Oliphant, Forrest Whitaker, they all deliver great performances. Um, Olivia, I think is her name, his partner. Um, she does a good job. She does a solid job. Uh, and mostly everybody else is a bit player who all pretty much deliver on their job. They're not standouts. Oh, okay. The girlfriend ninja bothered me.
The which one?
The girlfriend ninja. When the girlfriend, the street girl, um, the Hispanic girl, the daughter of
Oh yeah, when all of a sudden she's yeah, there's a fight scene where she goes off and you're like, "Oh wow, she can really fight for like a 16-year-old gangbanger." All right, cool.
who's kind of tubby, or
Yeah,
at least who looks like she is in the clothes she's wearing. She's in these big shapeless clothes, so she looks like she's overweight. I don't. Maybe she's not. She just and every time she went into trip guys and she's fighting like martial arts experts, Tong people who are doing great, fabulous things, and I'm like, there's no way she
absolutely
could
no
be
way.
it, no way. But the rest of the fighting scenes are all great. I just I very much enjoyed the movie, with a few exceptions. So I would definitely say it's worth watching, um, if you like action movies, and if you don't like action movies, you I
Why are you even here?
yeah, I'm just. I mean, it's not like we don't invite you to listen. We're very happy for you to listen, but you probably won't get a lot of recommendations for non-action. That's not quite true. We do recommend dramas and children's movies and you know other things from time to time, but yeah. So I mean, it was definitely worth it. I was entertained from beginning to end. I didn't once look at my watch and wonder when it was over or when it
Oh
was
yeah,
going to be over or think, oh wow, how long has this been on? I kept watching it. Um, and I didn't roll my eyes and think, "Oh wow, this is another Netflix time waster." I didn't feel bored. The actual story itself kept me interested. Um, his uh, his investigation when he was investigating things, I was interested to when he was going to go places, and I was interested in seeing who he interviewed. Um, when he was going after the injured guy, um, I thought that scene was great.
Oh yeah.
um, so yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. Um, just I think if they had cut out the Ninja Girl and had some money to uh, uh, build the streets, or were able to shoot on a back lot somewhere to do those scenes, it would have been incredible. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
it was definitely a script and an idea I think that needed a little more budget, but what we got was yeah, it wasn't great, but it was fun. I enjoyed it.
and I really do like Timothy Oliphant as an actor. Um, he's the one who made Deadwood worth watching. Him and uh, why can't I remember his character's name now? Oh, so mad. Al Swearington. Yes, there we go. I knew I had it in there. Him and Al Swearington made that show worth watching.
Is he called Al
Um,
Swearington because he swears a lot?
he does swear a lot.
Okay.
And I haven't seen the movie. I need to watch that movie on HBO so I can see the conclusion of this series. Because they came out with a movie to cap off this series. And I really need to watch that. I want to watch it. I have to watch it. I watched the whole series. I have to watch the end of it. Um, and he made Justified. Nick Searcy was incredible in Justified, and of course, our man Walter Goggins. Um, but I've liked him in just about everything I've seen him in. Actually, I haven't seen him in anything I haven't liked him in. So, um, and Forrest Whitaker's he's always good. Um,
Yep.
so yeah, I just it was a solid movie with a couple of flaws, but it was very enjoyable.
It is really
That's it.
funny to see someone like Forrest Whitaker slumming it in something like this.
It really is. And I saw him in the previews. I'm like, what is Forrest Whitaker doing? But
Gotta
then he
make those
does a
house
great,
payments.
yeah, then he was really great. And I'm like, well, my man is there. Um, okay. So the last ever Mission Impossible movie is coming out in May 23rd. So I'm definitely going to get to that and watch that before whatever show is after that. The And hopefully for next week's show, I'm going to get out to see Sinners. We postponed the review for Sinners from this week, so I could get out and watch it. And I should go see Deadwood on HBO, the movie, to watch the end of that series so I can finally tie that off. They're already talking about Squid Game Season 3, and I still haven't seen Squid Game Season 2. So I need to watch that at some point.
Yeah, I guess.
Did you see Season 2?
Yeah, I did. I talked about it on the show, I think.
Oh, yeah, you didn't like it.
Eh, it's more Squid Game.
Okay. They didn't do anything with it to make it more engaging or more interesting or
They did not.
um
At least in this humble correspondent's opinion.
so that'll be those will be the two things I'll try to get done for next week is Sinners and not Squid Game, Sinners and Deadwood. And I know Deadwood's been out forever. I mean, it's been out for like 4 years now, 5 years, I think. And I just keep putting it off. But that's got to be my thing for this week. I just read my first Kenneth Lee book last night. It's the first novella in the Books of Paradise series, and that was quite a trip. So, brand new author to me, and I'm just going to keep on trucking on those books. Very different from anything I've ever read before. I don't know if I'll ever do a review on the show, but definitely very strange.
Well,
I mean, strange, not the book itself, although the book itself is kind of trippy, but strange in that it's completely divorced from anything else I've ever read. It's more Misha's style. It's the kind of book he would read and love. In fact, I think he said so at some point. So I'm going to keep on reading that series and see how it settles into the old cabeza.
Cool. Well, let us know. I think we're about out of time for today, DW.
We are.
I just wanted to say thanks for hanging out and chatting with me. I hope everybody in the chat had a good time. Good to see you guys. I didn't name you all, but you know who you are. And I hope everyone listening later enjoyed the little review and chat that we had. If you are foolish enough to spend your money on Netflix, then you could do worse than to watch Havoc for some good old-fashioned violence. I'm done for this week, Daddy Warpig. The floor is yours.
All right. I've messed this up so many times, I don't know if I can ever get it right again. This has been Geek Gab for Monday, May 5th, 2025. We are here on YouTube every Monday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. Feel free to subscribe and click the bell icon to get notifications as to when we are doing our show. We are also available on the Google Play Store, on the SoundCloud.com, and on the Apple iTunes Store. Just do a search for Geek Gab. Subscribe to us on the device of your choice. Listen to us on the web or download us to your computer. We'll make it available in all those formats because that's the kind of awesome and amazing people we are, and that's kind of awesome and amazing people you are. We are signing out for today. But don't you worry, don't you fret. We will be back.